the hierarchy of light descends into your midst, waiting for the upraised chalice of your being to receive it, to draw it into your way of life. We, the ascended and cosmic beings, give you our very best teaching and instruction, that you might be afforded greater opportunity to draw into your world every nuance, every high ideal, every dimension, every charge of light and quality of God that you require with each initiation, with each test that you are required to engage in. Perhaps you have thought that it is much ado about nothing, as Saint Germain has so specifically written about when it comes to the unreality in your life. But it is not so. For blessed ones, if you are to mount the high pinnacle of a vibration that you require, to be in the downflow of the river of life, to receive golden helicon into your midst, to drink in the rarefied atmosphere of the perfection of your own God presence into your outer vehicles. Then there does come that time when you and you alone are the master of your fate. For you must determine if it is the cycle that you can muster all manner of strength within you to stay the rolling momentum of your human creation and allow for the free flow river of life from the octaves of light to flow into your midst, internalizing it, learning how to fashion and form, create and live within that light, where that light is all that you desire, all that you require to fulfill your heart's desiring. All of the things that have been brought to the fore for you to consider as the not self, that soul memory of the many incarnations, untransmuted, waiting to be put into the refiner's fire, is indeed your greatest challenge in embodiment. It takes no effort for you to be in the presence of an ascended master, to hear the voice of God, to unfurl the threefold flame of your heart, when that not self, the unreality born out of the many embodiments where you have not transmuted your karmas, balanced your debts, ceased to repeat those same habits and desires of the flesh. This, blessed ones, as a momentum of light which you can easily grasp, draw it all about you, is not the struggle. So how will you be about the clearing away of the debris that still stands between the purest desires of your heart and the fulfillment of that day's journey in victory? I, the Maha Chohan, hold within my consciousness the victory for each one of you. I understand where there are those light bearers in the world that must strive more mightily than others in this lifetime for the lagging behind in what was expected of their own God presence in the previous lifetime. So if the timetable and the cycle that the mighty I Am Presence has determined for that life stream is to be kept, then, of course, this lifetime will be perhaps a little more strenuous, and that one may feel as though the world is against them, and they are standing alone, without help and assistance. But that is a lie. For right within their own heart is the mighty I Am Presence. Right at this altar is sufficient charge of light and body consciousness of ascended octaves from ascended and cosmic beings that can be appropriated into their life. But the barriers of rejection must be let down. There must be a receptive consciousness, willing to engage with the Ascended Master consciousness, willing to have the assistance. Oh yes, there are those on the path that think they can make their ascension just as quickly as anyone else who is a part of the collective whole of the fabric of the ecclesia established by the Ascended Masters. But blessed ones, there are many who act foolishly against their own best interest, thinking they have already garnered enough. They know about the I Am Presence. They know about the violet flame. Therefore, they will go off on their own trek. And yes, blessed hearts, eventually they will reach the victory that their presence desires. But I ask you, to what cost? Is it sufficient to take 2 or 3 more incarnations to achieve such a victory? Outside of the circle of the assistance of the Brotherhood of Light? Or is it prudent and in divine order that one be wise and have the assistance of the brothers and sisters of light on the path, the collective charge of light that can be invoked when the unity of consciousness of the disciples of the light come together and draw it forth from the presence of God. You have already understood the multiplication of the power that can be invoked when there are 2 or more gathered together, and where there is a drawing upon this altar for the current that has been established for and on behalf of the Brotherhood's activity of light in the earth. You have understood that where there is a body of sons and daughters of God that look out for one another, assist one another, love one another, most especially, there is a greater comfort that can be realized when your tests come up that are more challenging, when you are faced with once and for all putting into the flame a record that has been nagging your memory for a long, long time. And when you come into close proximity with these brothers and sisters of light, you can let down the barriers that are oft times required in a worldly association with those who do not invoke the violet flame, with those who are not holding their gaze upon the presence of God, that are not establishing first and foremost an aura of harmony and peace. This you are afforded under the canopy of the temple of the presence. For the presence of God lives here, is anchored here. You need not trek to the vast mountainous regions of the Himalayas for Himalaya to come to you. For he has been at this altar, presiding throughout this conclave, for your benefit, so that you would know firsthand the momentums that he carries in his consciousness that would assist you as you began to have pointed out those pitfalls of human consciousness that most assuredly are not comfortable to rehearse or to touch with the mind, or to revivify in the energy that is brought to bear upon your vehicles when you even recount the record. So you can see, blessed hearts, that the preparation for this cycle has been great. Not only the preparation that you have exacted with your calls and devotions leading to this conclave, but that which the holy angels, the lords of karma, the Chohans of each of the rays and pranic breaths. So you see, blessed ones, for you to be in the midst of these teachings is an honor that you should be understanding that we hold you in high enough regard to bring about our very best, our highest cosmic beings, to assist you so that you might be pointed in the right direction, to once more be infused with the light of your God presence, to have the rays of God consciousness stream forth from that presence and activate certain momentums within your own causal body that can be disseminated into your outer vehicles to assist you with your calling in life, your divine direction, your ability to be victorious. For it is one thing to know what you are to accomplish, and it is wholly another to fulfill that plan of God to the greatest victory that is within your attainment. Blessed ones, my beloved twin flame, on the eve of last evening, spoke directly to you of the requirement and the necessity for you to grasp your role and your responsibility with the bringing forth of a golden age. Knowing as I do the weight that responsibility brings to the heart of those sincere students on the path, wondering to themselves, how will I fulfill this responsibility? I am already doing so very much. What is it that I am not doing? What should I be accelerating in my life? Let me say, beloved ones, all of those things that you might have asked, the mind of God, the heart of your own God presence, will be answered in due time. How will they be answered? As you prepare the purity of the chalice of being that you are in these lower vehicles, you clear the way for the flow of my consciousness, known to many as the Holy Spirit or the Comforter, But even more, you will begin to understand more clearly your mighty I Am presence. For my coming is to facilitate the coming of your presence. The charge of light and the clearing action that occurs with my coming is to align each of your vehicles of consciousness within the heart, so that the heart of God may guide you, guard you, and direct you. Your attention this day has been upon a work of prose that I desired to come forth. I orchestrated it and fashioned each word so that no extra verbiage was contained to allow the consciousness of the sons and daughters of God, when studying them, to go off on some other tangent, but to have it as exacting and specific and literal, to assist each one on their path. You blessed hearts need to recognize that you do not have to do it all alone. There is no discredit to your victory if you are a part of the whole, of the fabric of sons and daughters of God under the canopy of the great I Am. Oh, perhaps you have grasped and held firmly to the instruction and teaching that your God presence is indeed in that allness of God, and therefore if you are communicating and having regular visitation with your own I Am presence, you need nothing else. Think for a moment, blessed ones, even should that be the case and should be striven for to be the case. What of the love for God in the sons and daughters of God that would benefit, if indeed that were so, and you had already reached adeptship and had one foot in the transfiguration, preparing for the ascension? Do you suppose your presence would desire you to go off wandering the world, putting your attention upon all manner of things? Or would your presence have utilized in wisdom's ray the greatest vehicle with which to expand the work of the Brotherhood of Light, to expand the presence own ability to touch the hearts of the many? This can be accomplished in great and small ways when there is a body of torch-bearers of the temple collected together under the canopy of this etheric city, which has been the design all along. Perhaps you think that somehow we came up with the design and the thought to bring forth an activity here in this rarefied atmosphere of the etheric city just recently. For those of you who think so, you do not understand the far-reaching consciousness of the ascended masters and cosmic councils that gather to bring to the fore proactive solutions that will assist mankind. The plan has been established as long as that etheric city was established. Why do you suppose many ascended and cosmic beings have their outer retreat in this glorious realm so close at hand to you? Why do you suppose that we, for many incarnations, and when I say many, it is many, many incarnations, these anointed representatives have been trained so that they could hold the fire that was required of this time and this cycle to knit together the etheric city with this outer altar, so that the presence of God might be felt tangibly, infused within the densest of the bodies of those that would come to be refreshed, to be recharged, to have resurrection's flame coursing through them, to hear with clarity the teaching that did not require you to read between the lines, but to have the exacting instruction revealed to your heart, your conscious awareness, so that you could more easily approach your next steps on your path with gusto, without fear and trembling, without hesitation. You, blessed hearts, are in the place, in time, that was known before your birth. There are those that are intended to be here, and they are the ones that the holy angels are in constant ministration to, assisting wherever possible, wherever it is deemed lawful according to cosmic law. But no one comes to this altar being drugged by the nape of their neck. No, there must be a heart flame that is on fire and hungry for God, so that when the great river of the Helicon begins to flow through the atmosphere, it is received willingly, eagerly, and it is the comfort of the Holy Spirit, that charge of light that streams forth from each of the rays of God consciousness, of the major God qualities, of each of the pranic breaths of the elemental forces of nature. And suddenly they all converge in the center of one point right within your own heart. And as that burst of light within your heart ratifies all that you have come to know as a sign of truth, there is a flooding into your outer vehicles from your causal body, intoning your own keynote of identity, your own God presence, wrapping you in a charge of light that says, pay attention. The earth is moving neath your feet. Look up, for the heavens have opened to you. Follow the star of your God presence, for it is your Maker that has uttered the command. This, blessed ones, is afforded to each one that comes to sit at the table as a disciple of the Christ. That Christ light that cannot be denied. Oh, there are those foolish ones that would like to give voice to the peepings and mutterings of their human creation. But that is nothing to God. The great I Am has been railed against by an unconscious mankind back through to the very first fall of consciousness and from grace. But nonetheless, it has not stopped the hand of God at work. Why do you suppose the earth is still holding on? You might look about and try to consider what it is that makes the earth so worthy. It should come to your mind on the instant. It is the threefold flame of the heart of the many sons and many daughters of God that people the earth. It is the mighty I Am presence of each one of those life streams that we are in service to. And it is the great love for God that we have to desire not one blight upon the face of God anywhere within the cosmos. And so there are those hierarchy that work in ways that are never seen or known throughout the cosmos, that eventually their action, their purity of consciousness filters into the atmosphere of the earth to be appropriated by the sons and daughters of God, to revivify the earth body, the water, the fire, the air, so that there can be a viable body of conscious awareness of God at every level, for the presence to send forth its heart to abide. Blessed ones, if you have ever had a child of your own that you have given birth to, you can understand how you, as the parent, or surely the guardian of that child, would want everything good and perfect for that little one. You would move mountains to protect it, to guard it. You would desire to teach it and guide it into the very best that that child could become. Blessed ones, that is your God presence with its own heart that it has entrusted to the free will of your vehicles of consciousness. Think of it. You are responsible for all that goes on in and around that heart. And that heart desires to teach you. It is not the infant, though it is precious in the sight of God. That heart desires to protect you. For these outer vehicles that have been built up to be the hands and feet and the mouthpiece of the Lord are to be infused with that greater body of God. As you begin to appreciate more and more the seen and unseen workings of God, both in your life and throughout the cosmos, you cannot be anything but awe-stricken at the magnificence of God. How the plan has always been there. And fortunate for the many, they have arrived at that plan for them. But the plan is not complete. Even with one event or another, that is the ongoingness of eternality in the presence of God that you can appreciate, that you can begin to count on. Yes, perhaps yesterday was not as victorious as you had hoped. So you put it into the flame. You learn the lessons, what not to do, what to invoke, how to maintain your poise in the light and not be tempted to be drawn into a conflict, how to maintain your respect and honor of the Christ in others, even though it tests you mightily to hold on to your peace. How to keep the vision clear so that what you are shown, what you gaze upon, is indeed teaching you all of the lessons, allowing for your Christ discrimination to be at the helm. All this, blessed ones, because you have answered the call. Not everyone answers the call when it comes, even if it is most clear to them, to their discredit. But for those who have answered the call, all is made available. All is ready for the banquet table, so that you might drink in, ingest into your being all that you are prepared to receive. And that is the beauty of the guiding hand of your holy Christ presence. You could say it is the governor of what you receive, for it is the vehicle of your presence that straddles two worlds. It knows the divine, but it likewise understands and sees the outer vehicles. There is no hiding from the mind of God. There is no subterfuge, no sense of procrastination that counts. There is a right time and cycle for every event that is to come forth from your life stream that has significance. If you miss the cycle today, perhaps there will be another time, but it will not be the same eventuality. The lessons, perhaps, will all have a similarity. The outcomes, however, will be vastly different. And they will be determined by the chalice that responds to the initiation. Is the chalice clear? Is it keenly aware, with an inner vision of what is below the level of physical representation? What is the vibration? And with what vibration do you respond? Who is the doer? Is it the outer ego? The pride? Is it the desire of the flesh? Or is it the higher mind of God that with great precision knows exactly what is the right course, how to thread through such an enormous, elaborate labyrinth that would confound even the greatest intellects? The mind of God knows how. But each of the Manus that have come throughout this cycle have given you great keys to the fabric of the ideal son and daughter of God as the Christ that they are to be. Pallas Athena, my beloved, has given you the patterns of the cultural expression of an ascended master way of life that you might begin to emulate and to bring to the fore. I, the Maha Chohan, remind you of the key to the integration of all worlds. The light of God. Absent the light, all human pursuits will fall short of their mark. Absent the light, no matter how needy one might be, necessity's ray will not come streaming forth. Absent the light, you will not be able to hold fast to the responsibilities that you have already established within your life. And absent the light, you will not be able to maintain your constancy of service. For where there is the lack of light, there is the lack of the ability for the lower vehicles in this world of form to function as they are intended, as they were decreed by your own God presence. Absent the light, blessed ones, my words will have no bearing on the consciousness. Absent the light, there will not be the upraised chalice of the many sons and daughters of God that will know that the presence of God has drawn forth enough momentum to bring about the change in the earth that is required to bring forth a golden age. How then do you maintain the light? See yourself as the Holy Christ presence, with your feet anchored in the earth and your crown in the great central sun. See the overshadowing of your mighty I Am presence and the great rays of light streaming forth from the heart, from the crown, beneath the feet. And where your heart is holding to the consciousness of the great I Am, there is a sunburst that's sending forth that radiance of your own heart by the office of the mighty I Am presence. so that it touches the hearts of the many. Blessed ones, when you are at your altar, gazing into the portrait of the presence, see yourself there, activating those God qualities that your presence desires to send forth and to benefit all mankind. This is what we expect of those who stand in the light of their Christhood. This is why there is so much detail that we desire to give you, so that you will consciously know what is expected of you and how to reach that pinnacle of light and God consciousness at the top of the mountain. The trek is strenuous, but it is oh so rewarding. I will let you in on a little secret. Halfway up the mountain, you will discover that the rest of the ascent is oft-times effortless, until perhaps that last vestige of the human self that says, okay, if I do not have my day today, I will be extinct. Therefore, I will come in with a vengeance and knock this Christ light off perspective of the goal of the ascension. That is when you will smile, for you will recognize the oncoming, and you will know how to hold true to your position of poise in the light, maintaining a little quicker stride, a little more sure-footedness, a little tighter grasp upon the hand of your God presence, your ascended master sponsors, the holy angels that will be there holding you up on each side. And you will know that it just takes that one last effort to give birth to a God. That, blessed ones, I, the Maha Chohan, will assist you with. It is my great honor to serve the sons and daughters of God in breathing through the God consciousness into the outer vehicle, that first breath of life that is never forgotten in the recesses of the consciousness of every life stream. This is why when I come, there is comfort, for instinctively the child within remembers and is back in that pure state of consciousness, without all of the rigors of life, without all of the ups and downs. but is there in that visitation of the Maha Chohan, in the breath of life. Let the pranic breath of the 5 great elemental forces of nature be the platform by which you receive the glorious rays of God qualities that your presence desires to release into your life. And as you begin to know how to integrate all of these vehicles right within the heart, you will win your victory. There is great expectation for the close of this lifetime for all who are in the sound of my voice. The record shows that many, if not most, are destined for their ascension at the close of this lifetime. But take caution. It is because you are this far along that I send my cautionary signal. Beware. Hold fast. Do not allow the human creation that abounds all about to distract you. Those who are striving with every vestige of talent and attainment that they already have garnered will be assisted in those final days according to the record of their service and their history. Understand, blessed ones, you each one have a history with the Ascended Masters, with the Karmic Board. They know you better than you will ever know them. They are your greatest advocates and greatest defenders on the path. They will not allow you to receive the answer to a petition for your life stream that would put you into a questionable condition on your journey. For they understand what is needed at every step along the way. How can this be so? You cannot relegate what you are able to conceive within your outer mind to what a God can conceive in the allness of the presence of God. This is why it is such a glorious occasion, and yes, a cosmic event, when there are ascensions from the earth. All know of it in the realms of the entire spirit of the Brotherhood of Light, and all applaud it, for they know the victory that has been achieved. So it should come as great encouragement to each one of you that you can make your ascension at the close of this life. And for the few that will not, it is not because you will not be ready or worthy. It is because you have something to do in the next embodiment that cannot be begun at this hour in this incarnation. So you see, blessed hearts, all is well under the canopy of God. You need only call forth the light and become that light. Prepare your chalice for the golden helicon, for within it are all of those wisdoms, assistance, purities, clarifications, power that you can draw upon, for they are the gifts of the ascended and cosmic beings that have been prepared for you to utilize wisely. I commend you to a joyous and oh so glorious trek into your Christhood. And as you embrace the light of God, remember to always give gratitude to God in all of life that has assisted you. For you did not do it alone, even though there are those stages when you must stand in your own light. The framework of God is all about you, waiting to assist.